The following is a pre-recorded show. Welcome to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers, certified financial planner professional and founder of Akers Financial Group. Now, helping you win in your retirement, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Yes, this week we have a very special show. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, president and founder of Akers Financial Group, and we welcome you to our Winning in Retirement radio podcast. Here with me today, I brought in Sam Payne, an expert in Social Security, and he's going to be here today to talk with us about Social Security and what it means to us. What we've been doing is planning a show called You and Social Security, and Sam Payne is the right guy to do this. We had him here over the years, and Sam Payne, we welcome you to our show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here in Maryland again. Love it here in Maryland.
Now, Sam Payne works for Payson Financial and is a Social Security expert. And how are you a Social Security expert? How does that work?
Years ago, I decided I wanted to learn everything I could about Social Security, so I pursued the education and got a National Social Security Association accreditation. So went through the training to understand Social Security, the intricacies of Social Security, and become really an authority on Social Security.
And Sam speaks throughout the country when it comes to different events. Some of the best events that he does is with us, of course. And one of them is this radio podcast we're doing right today. So the idea of this show is about you and Social Security. So we're going to talk about the rules of Social Security, and then we're going to talk a little bit how it might apply to you. And you need to understand that the Social Security is a decision based on you, not on your friend, not on your best buddy saying, oh, you should do it this way. Oh, you should draw early like I did. The decision is yours. Your unique financial situation will dictate your answer when it comes to Social Security. All right, Sam, we got to talk about Social Security and people becoming eligible for Social Security. Generally, Social Security, you become eligible approximately at what age?
You can begin your early retirement at age 62 for most people.
All right, so 62 this year in 2024. That would mean they were born in what year?
1962.
1962.
Yeah. 62.
I like that. Yeah. So 62 and 62. So it's a good birthday. That's the earliest on regular Social Security retirement, not disability.
Right.
All right. And people can draw between the age of 62 or 70. They get to pick when they want to start between those ages. After 70, they still have to do the paperwork to start, but it stops growing and getting better.
Right.
You sort of lose money if you don't draw once you hit 70.
There's no reason to not claim Social Security at age 70 or beyond. There's no real reason not to.
Yeah, that makes sense. So 1957 is the full retirement age, I think, this year.
Yep.
And as we start working on topics and names and information, we want to talk about just the general concepts of Social Security. Now, Social Security, people receive income from Social Security. How can we explain to the listener about how they decide what we get?
That's a great question. The first thing is to understand that there's 3 different ages that you want to look at. The first, of course, we talked about at age 62, and you could claim a benefit the earliest date. The second is your full retirement age, and that age is an important date in that it gets you the full retirement benefit. And the third is your delayed age, or age 70. So those 3 ages, 62, 67 for those born in 1960 or later, and age 70. The question is, which one is most optimal for your scenario to claim at?
All right, and absolutely. Now, when we talk about Social Security, there's something called a primary insurance amount.
Yes, the primary insurance amount is the amount that you would receive at your the full amount that you would receive at your full retirement age, so at age 67.
So 67 is, so basically if you're born in 1958, it's 66 and 8 months. If you're born in 59, it's 66 and 10 months. But if you're born in 1960 or later, that means your full retirement age is 67. And that means that you can work and draw Social Security at the same time.
Yes.
And so that's after full retirement age.
After full retirement age. And that full retirement age benefit, what we call the primary insurance amount, everything else with Social Security is based off of that number. So it's an important number.
And that's based on years of work and paying into the system. How many years of work do they calculate into this income that they provide?
It's to average over a 30-year period.
All right, so they take your average pay that you made and you've paid into Social Security, and then they take that and they compare it to how much you put into Social Security?
I would say no, not necessarily how much you put into Social Security. You've got a limit as to the max that you can contribute to Social Security.
Sure.
And if you hit that max each and every year, you will get the maximum Social Security benefit. But your benefit is based on your averaged indexed monthly earnings.
All right, and that index is all tied to how Social Security calculates, which is Social Security contributions come out of your paycheck.
Yes.
Now, that Social Security comes out of your paycheck, and then your employer matches it. And so there's two portions going to Social Security, and that's the tax that goes in.
Yes.
And that goes to your account. That doesn't mean it's your money. It just means the federal government uses that to help fund the Social Security.
Exactly. That's right. It's not set aside for you specifically.
And anytime someone wants, they can actually log into Social Security's website, create an account, and then find out where they are.
Absolutely. And if you're 60, 57, 60 years old, I encourage you to create an account at Social Security and take a look at your Social Security statement.
And that's at ssa.gov.
ssa.gov.
ssa.gov. You log on to there. You do have to set up the account, go through all the security measures, and then you can see the record that they have.
Yes, you can see what earnings you've been credited with.
They'll show every year you've worked.
Yes.
And if something's wrong, that's a good reason to check into this to see if something was reported wrong so that you can fix it, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So this website is where you can do a retirement estimate on that website from Social Security. That's really the only one that's really reliable is directly from them. Any other calculator out there or software is an estimator.
Right.
The one through ssa.gov is actually what is proposed at the moment.
Yeah, and that is in essence the best estimation you're going to get because they're making some assumptions as well. The one of them is that you're going to continue to earn at that level.
Exactly right. So in the estimator, you can say, yes, I'll keep working till 65 and I'll make that money the whole time. There is a way, once you do the basic calculation, you can make some assumption changes where you can say you earn less at 62. You can adjust some of the numbers on the website to be able to draw your Social Security. So at Akers Financial Group, what we do when we're sitting down and doing financial planning is we want you to have a Social Security account. We log into there. Sometimes you log in together and check out your options, especially if you're at a point where you're looking at retirement and possibly retiring before your full retirement age. And so you have to look at these numbers to see what would apply for you.
Yes, and I know we're talking Social Security basics, but one of the basics we had, and then we're going to talk about it probably later, is that it's not just the benefit for the worker. There are other benefits, and we're going to talk about those later. And those are incredibly important and based off of that primary insurance amount, that amount you would get at your own full retirement age.
Absolutely. So that is definitely going to be throughout the show, having different topics. The goal in the first quarter here is to lay the groundwork on Social Security. Then we'll talk more serious talks about Social Security when it comes down to when is the right time for you. We're going to talk about Social Security and viability and being around and what to count on. And then the planning, should Social Security be your main part of your plan or just part of it? These are all aspects of our show today. Here in that first quarter of trying to explain Social Security, I always like to talk about it in a way where we begin by what does the government say our number is, and then you got to talk about, well, what makes sense on drawing. I want to ask you a little bit about earning if you're working and drawing Social Security. How does that work?
If you claim Social Security prior to your full retirement age, you can have some of your Social Security benefit clawed back because of your earnings.
So if you make too much money, if you're before your full retirement age, so let's say you're 63, 65, 66, you can actually lose your Social Security that you earned if it goes over the limit.
Absolutely. And the limit is very low. And so you don't have to have a lot of earnings to have your Social Security benefit pulled back or clawed back. Now, you might get that back, or you will probably get that back later when you go to claim after your full retirement age because they recalculate the benefit. But if you're working, you know you're going to be working prior to your full retirement age, I don't think it actually makes sense to file for Social Security.
Right. So if you're working and doing well, if you're working part-time, like in 25, so next year in 25, if you actually earn $23,400 next year, anything above that, every $2 above that, you're going to give $1 back of your Social Security. Yeah. So you got to know that when you like, some people retire and then they basically decide, I don't want to fully retire, I want to work part-time. Then they go back to their old job and they get a really great pay. And then basically they're forfeiting all the Social Security back.
Yes. Yeah, and some think that they'll never get that money back. That's not necessarily true because they do recalculate the benefit at age 67. But again, why commit to Social Security if you know you're going to be working, making over $45,000, $50,000 a year? Because if you're taking away 2 for 1, $45,000, $50,000 a year, you really have no benefit.
Right. It's gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
They send you a note and they start taking it from your Social Security pay and it dwindles down. It comes back up when you hit FRA, your full retirement age. So we're going to use some cool words today. FRA, that's the thing you got to learn today. Full retirement age. That is when you get your primary insurance amount from Social Security. That's the main number they work from. Retire early, they reduce it. Yep. Retire after, they give you more for delaying. Absolutely. And that's sort of the mathematical concepts of Social Security. Sam Payne's going to be with us throughout the show talking about the Social Security rules and the laws. And then we're going to really try to dig into how we make decisions when it comes to Social Security. Social Security should be a piece of our retirement, should not be the only piece of our retirement. And that's why at Akers Financial Group, we really want to talk about financial planning at all times. And all times talk about you and your unique financial fingerprint. That's where you are. Now, Akers Financial Group, we're local, we're independent. We don't report to a big company on Wall Street. We report to you. We have offices in Lutherville and Forest Hill, clients all around this Mid-Atlantic region and all around the country, and even a few around the world. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. All you have to do is give us a call and schedule your free meeting with one of our team of advisors by calling 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WINRETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person meeting. Just go ahead to AkersFinancialGroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. When should you turn on your Social Security income? We will talk about this when we return in a moment.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Hey, welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, president and founder of Akers Financial Group. I'm a certified financial planner practitioner and host of the radio show you're listening to right now. Yes, we welcome you to our radio show, and we're thankful that you're here listening. Today is a very special day in that we brought Sam Payne from California to sit here in the studio and go over Social Security. Why did we bring Sam Payne? Sam Payne is someone I've known a long time. He has taken a lot of courses on Social Security through a group called the National Social Security Association, and he's certified as an instructor through them, and he instructs our clients at some events that we have during the year. So Sam Payne's here today. He's from California, and he's in Maryland, so we're going to treat him nicely, the best we possibly can. All right, Sam, are you ready to go here in the second quarter?
I'm ready.
I got a tough first question for you.
Okay, throw it out there.
All right. As a Marylander, it's very important to know who's in charge of Social Security.
Yes.
Who is in charge of the Social Security Administration? Who's been appointed to that position currently?
I believe he was the former governor of Maryland. The name Mallory? Can't remember the name.
It was close. Martin O'Malley.
O'Malley, that's it.
Martin O'Malley is serving as the Social Security chief until January 19th of 2025.
Okay.
And that's when the next president would appoint the next person to be in.
Yep. Awesome.
Now Martin O'Malley came into Social Security, and he found a bit of a mess because there's so many people applying.
Yes.
And so his primary job and what he's gone on a lot of talk shows and talked about is just getting the phone answered, getting people to service and to be there, the Social Security to treat their customers the way they should be, which is to take care of them.
And that's something that we have not seen It
didn't feel that way, right? So
for a long time.
When you have the chief, Martin, the former governor of Maryland, actually saying, yes, we're going to talk to you, that's a welcome thing because
Absolutely.
8 million people are going to apply for Social Security this year.
Yep.
8 million. They say there's 400,000 to 600,000 a day contact Social Security.
Yep.
So it's an overwhelming amount of people retiring and doing this. And that's this whole baby boomer piece going into Social Security. And there's people retiring, 10,000 a day or more, and also trying to make these Social Security decisions. And that's why we wanted a show called You and Social Security. The first thing we want you to understand is that Social Security is the decision for you and your family to make. Don't do it because you quit your job. Don't do it because someone told you to. Don't do it because you hit 62 and you feel like you have to. It's a decision that you need to make that's going to apply for the rest of your life, and it's not really something that you can change or get too many redos.
That's right. It's important to make sure that when you make your claiming for Social Security that you've thought of all the parameters, all the occurrences that might happen that would affect your ability to maintain your standard of living with that Social Security benefit. And unfortunately, too many individuals don't take into consideration all the variables, and there are a lot of variables.
Yeah, we have a friend of ours who we were talking to, and he basically says, I tried to do it myself.
Yep.
We said, well, how'd that work out? And he tells us a story of he's still working, and he's almost at full retirement age, and he went ahead and applied so he can check out the numbers. Of course, we would have told him, check out the website first, get your number from there. You don't need to apply to get the number.
Right.
But he went ahead and applied. So when you apply, you start the clock. Yep. And then Social Security told him by going into and having a meeting that he was making too much money. He's going to have to forfeit it back anyway. And by starting early, he gets less money. If you wait till the next year when he's actually full retirement, he'd make more money and not have the penalty. So the decision for him should have been to wait.
Yes.
Which is what, if we were his advisor, not his friend, we would have guided him that way,
yes,
right?
Absolutely, we would have. And now he has to request he's pulling back the application, basically. Which
he's withdrawing the application and paying back anything he's ever received from Social Security. That's the only way to withdraw. Yep. And that's a one-time thing, right, Sam?
It's one time, yep.
All right, so everybody's listening. If you apply for Social Security, you have 12 months to redo.
Yes.
Based on whatever's going on in your life, you can make a change.
Yes.
We're not saying you should do that, but if you have to, there's a one-time redo all within the first year. And yes, you have to pay back everything they gave you.
Yes.
And that resets you as if you never applied.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Yep.
Now, this quarter, we're talking about when should you draw your Social Security income. Mm-hmm. Now, let's say I'm talking to you and we're talking to a 40-year-old. A 40-year-old, they say, hey, Sam, when should I draw Social Security? How would you answer someone that's 40 years old?
Well, at a 40-year-old, I would say plan on age 67 or 70, but let's not even consider that right now. Let's keep working hard and saving as much as you can for your own retirement. That's what I would say. Right.
So Social Security would be part of the retirement plan.
Yes.
But Social Security would be targeting full retirement age,
yes,
which would be 67 is what's on the books now.
Currently, yes.
Yeah. Now, we're going to try to talk about future laws later in the show. Right now, we're just trying to establish the base laws with each person, trying to explain to you guys what's going on with the choices. Let's say you're thinking about drawing Social Security, and you are going to be 62 next year.
Yes.
Now, the first thing I would tell people is, are you going to work?
Yep.
And do you think that's a primary thing to consider first when we're talking about drawing?
That's number one. That's the first thing. Are you going to continue to work prior to your full retirement age and earn in excess of $24,000 a year?
Now, the second part of the decision, I think, is longevity.
Yes.
Because you got to decide that if I draw early, I lock in a lower number for the rest of my life.
Yes.
And it will increase only by cost of living adjustments. I sort of lock in the number. If I wait, I get a higher number.
Yes.
How does that work when it comes to lower and higher numbers?
Let's assume that at your full retirement age, you have a $2,000 benefit payable to you.
Okay.
You choose to claim at age 62.
Great.
That benefit is reduced.
It's reduced by how much?
I believe it's 25%.
Yeah, 25% would be about 6% every year, 0.5% a month.
That's right.
Yeah.
So let's say you do claim at 62. 25% of $2,000 is $500 a month. Now you don't have a $2,000 benefit payable to you. You have $1,500.
Right.
Now let's assume a few years down the road you have a cost of living adjustment that's 10%. Let's say, just to throw a number out there. You'd never see one that big, but simple math tells you that's a $150 increase. Wouldn't it be better to have a $2,000 benefit and have a 10% increase on a $2,000 benefit rather than $1,500? And you multiply that over years and years and years, and you see that claiming early not only locks you into a lower benefit, but each time you have a COLA, it's based on a lower amount, so it's a less of an increase overall. It doesn't make sense. There's a lot of individuals who use what's called a break-even analysis.
Yep.
They'll sit down and they'll do the math. If I claim at 62, I get this much a month, and if I live to average age, it's the same as if I wait to age 67 and live to average age.
Yeah.
That's the wrong analysis, because that analysis doesn't take into consideration the things you're talking about. Do you have longevity in your family? Mm-hmm. Are there some medical concerns in your family? Do you have a spouse, and does that spouse have the same earnings power that you've got? Mm-hmm. Are they younger? Are they older? Is their health? Do they have longevity? There are so many other things to consider. The break-even analysis, in my opinion, it does not do the right thing for clients. It doesn't do them justice. It just makes somebody else feel good that they can do the math. But the math is not what's important.
I like math. I like math a lot. Now, like the reason I talk about break-even analysis sometimes is just the idea. Do you believe that you're going to live to age 78 to 80?
Yep.
And some people go, no, absolutely not. My family's never lived past 74. They tell me things like this. And I say, well, if you're not working and there's no other factor, which we'll talk about all the other factors later in the show, but the idea is then you might want to draw early.
Yep.
Because you want to try to draw what you can over your lifetime. Because if you wait and don't draw, let's say the example that Sam gave, you got $1,500 at 62 or wait to 67, that 5 years, that's a big deal in the fact that you have 5 years of not getting the payment.
Yes.
So that's a lump sum of money that you did not receive, and that's why the break-even number says, oh, you'd have to catch up, and it'll take a while to catch up. And so that's where break-even comes down to it. But the problem is we don't know our longevity. We just know what we want to do. The Americans are living longer than ever, which is a good thing when it comes to waiting on Social Security, but then there's lots of other factors that people have to consider. But when it comes down to you and your situation, if you're not working and you need the money, you need to consider Social Security.
Yes.
Now, there's another little slight fact I like to cover this quarter, and that is spousal.
Yes.
Your spouse. So let's assume you have a spouse who has earned zero during their life.
Yes.
What are they eligible for off of the primary spouse?
Social Security rules allow them to claim up to 50% of your primary insurance amount, which is the amount, as we discussed earlier, that you would get at your full retirement age. That's the maximum they can get, 50% of that. But if they claim early, that is also reduced, just like your own benefit is reduced.
Right. So if you're early and your spouse is early, they penalize that.
Yes.
And it would be even less than 50% if the person draws before their full retirement age.
It would be 50% reduced by whenever they claimed prior to the full retirement age. Yes.
Absolutely. So what happens is that when it comes to Social Security strategy, there's not as many strategies anymore. It comes down to when are you going to draw? Yep. So one of the things is that a spouse can't draw until the other one draws.
Yes.
And so that's an interesting fact in that if you have a zero earner, the other spouse doesn't draw, they can't get anything. But once the other one draws, you could earn.
Right. You can't draw off of a spousal benefit until the primary worker actually files for and receives their benefit. That's true.
Yeah. And then the other key thing there is that both spouses are working. You look at which one's higher, which one's lower. And in some cases, what you do is you draw the person that has the lower first. Yep. And let the larger one grow. And we will explain why that's important after we return, because I like that to be one of their mini teasers. So imagine that we're talking to a financial advisor at Akers Financial Group. You're talking with one of our team members, and we're talking about your Social Security decision. We're talking about that situation. When should you and your spouse draw? Who should draw first? When? Which month? How should we do it? That's planning. That's taking advantage of your situation and understanding what all the options are and saying which is best for you and your family. The family benefit matters, and that's why you need to do financial planning. Financial planning truly begins by calling Akers Financial Group to have that free consultation to talk about your exact situation. Yes, we can have a conversation. The more information you bring to that first meeting, the more we can talk to you back and forth about what's going on. Many times this leads to where we engage as your financial advisor, and that's where we can sit down and talk about your situation. So go ahead, go to our website at akersfinancial.com or give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. Schedule an in-person meeting with one of our team of advisors. That's 833-WINRETIRE. That's 833-946-7384. And our website's akersfinancialgroup.com. Will the Social Security program continue to exist? We will explain in a moment.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group. Here with me today is a special guest, Sam Payne. He's from Payson Financial. He's a Social Security instructor, and we use him to help educate our clients about the Social Security rules, how to understand what's going on, and also give ideas on how to make Social Security work for you and your family. Sam, you ready to go here in the second half of the show?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Were you a sports guy growing up?
I was not much of a sports guy growing up.
Yeah, so you don't really have a halftime like orange juice, Gatorade, or anything like that?
No, I didn't.
You don't hydrate here halfway through the show. You're good.
I hydrate all day long.
Hydrate all
the time.
Always hydrating. Okay. All right, so hopefully you're hydrating as you're driving or whatever you're doing as you're listening to the show. The Winning in Retirement podcast radio show is really for you to understand that we want you to understand your unique financial situation and apply these financial topics and coach you on what is wise, how to handle. And Akers Financial Group, we want to be your financial advisor where we help you with managing money, making financial decisions to help your money last a lifetime. Here in the second half of the show, what we're going to try to do to start out with is cover one of our teases, which about we have spouses where they're both working. And when we have that situation, we want to look at the family and who's earning and really try to decide who should draw first. What kind of information do we look at, Sam, and how do you base a decision for when you have two spouses that are working?
Well, I think the biggest thing is what are their ages, of course. Are they close to that 62 or their full retirement age? And secondarily, how much income are they currently earning? And what has their earnings record been over the last 30 years?
Oh, you want all those facts in my example. Let's go with this concept of spouses are about the same age.
Okay.
And one makes more than the other. I don't know the numbers, but let's say one makes more than the other. What kind of basic advice would we give?
Well, if one's making more than the other, I would think if there isn't some other type of benefit or asset for the spouse that you're going to allow the person who's earning more to wait and file their benefit later.
And why would we wait on the larger one? Why would we want to wait?
Because for every year that you wait past age 67, you get about an 8% increase in your income benefit. And the bigger benefit allows you a larger benefit that lasts forever and gets COLAs as time goes on.
All right, the COLAs apply to the larger one. And then what are other reasons that we want one of them to be higher than the other?
I think the biggest thing is the spousal benefit then is obviously larger because it's 50% of what that full retirement age is. And when one passes away, they get the greater of the two. So you want one of them to be substantially larger if you can than the other.
Yeah, so basically what Sam's saying, if there's two spouses and one has a higher earning record and you let that one grow while drawing the one with a smaller amount, by letting the other one grow, what happens is that becomes the family benefit.
Yes.
So that's the benefit that if one passes away, that would be what the family is left with.
Yes.
And so like if you're earning less and your spouse dies, you can jump up to that.
Yes.
All right. So that's just a simple thought when it comes down to drawing Social Security. This quarter, one of the big topics is, will the Social Security program continue to exist? Will it be around for us when we're looking at this? So can you tell me about Social Security, their finances, and a little bit just with the numbers that we know?
Yes. Each year, the Social Security Administration files a statement that tells what's going on with the economics of Social Security. In the last few years, well, let me back up. If you look at your statement over the last probably 10, 12, 15 years, there's always been in fine print on the back of your statement the warning or the disclosure that at some point Social Security may run out of money and need to reduce the benefits.
Now, Social Security run out of money, that means the trust fund?
The trust fund.
Okay.
So they've had a trust fund that they're drawing from. What that means is the Social Security Administration is taking in $100, let's say, to put math on it, in taxes, but they're paying out $120.
Okay.
So they have a savings account that they're pulling the $20 from to make sure that everybody gets their benefit. That savings account currently, under the current report, is set to be exhausted by 2034.
Yeah, based on last year's report, and then I think the current projection could be around 35.
I think when they include the disability insurance fund in there, it's 2035. But yes, 2034, 2035, and that time period, 10 years, about 10 years from now, they run the risk of not having anything left in that savings account, the trust fund. So at that point, by law, the only thing that the Social Security Administration can pay out to the beneficiaries, those receiving the benefit, is the total amount that they're receiving in taxes.
Okay.
Currently, that is about a 26% reduction or 23% reduction in the current benefit. So if nothing changes, the trust fund doesn't grow again, trust fund doesn't have some extended life that added money to it, or taxes don't go up, premium taxes don't go up, the law requires the Social Security Administration to reduce benefits for all beneficiaries in excess of 20% currently.
Yeah, and that's projected for 2034, 2035, about 10 years from now. So first of all, what I hear you saying is that if the Social Security Trust Fund goes to zero, they're still paying a Social Security benefit.
Yes, absolutely.
So this fear that we're going to lose all of our benefit is not the way it's set up.
No way.
It's going to be funded by current cash flow, but current cash flow would dictate they would pay less.
Yes.
And so that would lead to hoping that there'll be some changes over the next 10 years on their Social Security system.
I believe there will. I don't think that they're going to let Social Security completely go by the wayside. It's a little problematic that we're not hearing more about it today.
Right.
In our political environment, but that is honestly a political hot potato. I mean, nobody wants to touch it. Something's got to be done, and something will be done.
Yeah. So basically, when I think about Social Security and retirement planning, I always think that Social Security, we got to project it to the future. One way that I like to project it is with very little cost of living, so that if they do reduce it, I don't have it so high because it's grown every year that's going to basically punish us where we were relying on Social Security too much in our plan.
Right.
It also leads to the advice for everyone to listen to, and that is for you and Social Security cannot be the only source of your retirement planning.
Right.
It cannot be. If it is, that's something that we're going to have to be very cautious about advising that you shouldn't do it that way. You need to save other money.
Yes.
The Social Security, the changes that could be made, let's just cover a couple possible changes. One of the possible changes is to do what they do for Medicare. Medicare premiums has something called IRMA, where they means test Medicare and they charge people more Medicare premium if they make more money.
Right.
Means testing, could that come to Social Security?
Yes. And I believe it will be part of the overall answer. It will not be the only answer, but I believe it will be part of it. That's one answer. Another answer could be increased taxes, increased taxes on high wage earners, increased taxes on current wage owners. It could be extending or pushing out the early retirement age. Yeah. It could be changing the full retirement age.
Yeah, I think the full retirement age is the one that'll move and adjust up. I think that'll go to 70 someday, especially as longevity has occurred and everything else. When I play with the math, I always think they would keep the early option out, but they would penalize you almost more because they push the full retirement age later, then discount it more, and then get rid of that delayed money.
Yeah, and I think that you're right. I think that's the other strategy is to do away with the delayed earnings to age 70. Just you got full retirement age, and that's it.
We're talking about a lot of little things about Social Security. The main topic I want you to understand is Social Security should not be your only source of retirement income. The second thing is that Social Security will be there in some form. We're not saying that it's going to go away.
No.
It's going to, under the current program, it's going to be reduced. I think the late 90s was the first time they started warning that this would happen someday. Yes. And there has not been major changes to help that make it last longer.
It's true.
The COVID time period actually began the first time where payroll did not pay all the Social Security benefits. It began to use the trust fund at that year, and it has not improved. The Social Security is a benefit for you, your spouse, and your family, depending on Social Security, survivorship, disability, has lots of programs in it.
Yes.
Now, those programs, all that could be subject to change also.
I think they'd have to be. I think the whole program, the whole Social Security in itself is going to change. The question is, what will be the impact of the changes to our clients, the people that come in and see us, and overall in society, what are the three groups that should be looking at Social Security from three separate perspectives? First is those who are already claiming. Historically, Social Security, any changes were grandfathered for those who are already receiving a benefit.
Sure.
Not saying that's going to happen, but that's historical. So
Okay.
maybe that's going to happen. The second group is those that are over 20 years away from retirement. My opinion, and yours I would agree, is keep your head down, work hard, and save more in your own Roth accounts for your own retirement. But the group that will be the most affected in some manner, whether it's means testing, changing the dates, additional taxes, benefit cuts, is that group that's 10 to 15 years away from retirement. That group, in my opinion, needs to sit up. They need to take account of what's going on, pay attention, and come in and sit down with somebody who can help them plan.
I think you put it exactly the right way, and that is there's three sort of decision markers in life, and that is what age are you right now?
Yep.
If you're already drawing, we'd like to consider that it would stay the same, but you got to plan as if it might not be exactly the same. We got to plan that we have multiple income sources.
Yes.
The ones that are close, I call it the baby boomers, should be fine. Younger than baby boomer, you got to have multiple plans for this.
Yep.
And younger than that, it might be totally restructured, but I think Social Security will still be around in just different versions. So the idea of will Social Security program continue to exist? Our answer is yes. That's our answer to it.
Absolutely.
Will it exist in a greater form? Probably not. Probably a lesser form. They're going to have to do effective legislation to make it last longer and be able to fulfill the promises that they made. And I know that's something that they want to do.
Yes.
And so we wish whoever's working on all of this the best, because this is a tough job to do the math and to make this all work out. Now, at Akers Financial Group, when we're doing financial planning, we understand that the best part of retirement is really getting your time back, where you decide how to use it. Before retirement, your time is all tied up with other commitments, mainly your job. A lot of that goes away in retirement. Your time is now consumed by things that you want to do. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. You just go to our website at akersfinancialgroup.com, scroll to the schedule a meeting section, and let us know you'd like to schedule your free consultation with one of our team of advisors. That's akersfinancialgroup.com, or you can call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person meeting. Go to akersfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. Will Social Security be enough for your retirement? We'll explain when we return.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, certified financial planner practitioner and host of this radio podcast we have going on here called Winning in Retirement. Thank you for listening. Today, our special guest is Sam Payne from Payson Financial. He's also a certified Social Security instructor from National Social Security Association. Sam Payne, we've been enjoying our talk on Social Security law. Hopefully, everybody's enjoying our talk and not falling asleep too much. But the idea is our show today is about you and Social Security And if we had some main points, I feel the main points are it's about the client and their unique situation. Are they married, not married? All these situations that go on. And is Social Security going to, how to draw for them, when to draw, when do they need it? It all works together. Do you find that Social Security is easier or something that's easier to decide on for people, or is it just keeps getting harder?
I don't know if it keeps getting harder, but the understanding that you and I have seen so many different clients with so many different variables, it's being able to get the client to understand all the variables that we need to take into consideration before we make a suggestion as to when to claim Social Security. One of those is how much income will Social Security actually generate for them at 62, at 67, at age 70, and anywhere in between. Absolutely.
I get frustrated with Social Security when it comes to some clients getting opinions from their parties they go to. I guess you call that cocktail financial planning or financial advice. And they come in and they insist that they need to draw Social Security. And in their situation, it's like, no, these are the reasons you should not. One of them is if you're under your full retirement age and you're actually making too much money, you should not draw Social Security if you're going to forfeit it right back. There's no advantage to drawing early if you're forfeiting it back.
Makes no sense at all. And you and I have had so many conversations with people who have done that or people who have suggested that's what they're going to do and explain to them that really doesn't make any sense to do that.
Yeah, I mean, what you'll find out there, when people retire, they need to make sure they have enough income flowing in. So as part of financial planning, we design that to make sure you're okay. Now, Social Security is going to be coming into your pay. Now, interesting, the tax law in Maryland has pension exclusions, so you pay a lot less tax on Social Security, but only when you're 65 and over. When you're 62 to 65, Social Security goes right to your mostly taxed in Maryland. It's based on the federal limit of 85% being taxed, so 50 to 85.
Right.
And Maryland doesn't have any exclusion until you hit the age 65. Then you pay a lot less tax in Maryland. So Maryland's one of the 34 states that provide advantage for Social Security taxation in retirement. But it's not good for the early retiree. You still pay tax on that.
Right.
Social Security, will it be enough for someone to retire on? Generally, Social Security in their design, was it built to be someone's sole retirement?
No, Social Security was originally designed in the 1930s to lift seniors out of poverty after the Great Depression.
Okay.
It was never intended to be a pension plan for American citizens. Unfortunately, I think for a lot of America, that's what it has become.
Right.
And so you're subject to the whims or to the changes that the Social Security Administration either decides to or needs to make to keep that program healthy overall.
Right.
And that's not necessarily a healthy way to plan your retirement. You and I both know that if you're going to plan a retirement, it all starts with a budget. How much income do you need in retirement?
Yep.
And then what portion of that does Social Security fill? Rarely does it fill 100%, and really it shouldn't. But even if it did, rarely does that happen because people's incomes are so much more than what the Social Security benefit is. It's never intended to be a pension.
Yeah, so the comment you mentioned was to lift you out of poverty. Now, the reality is that the average or basic Social Security benefit is doing almost the same thing, just barely getting to the poverty level.
Right.
It's not getting to a really nice retirement level. It's very minimal. The sad part is that Social Security is also based on what you made during your lifetime.
Yes.
So if you made a little, you're going to get less money than somebody that makes a lot.
Yes.
So it is based on what they pay in over the years. But when it comes down to Social Security itself, Social Security provides like a return of pay at a higher percentage to lower income.
Yes.
As you make more and more money, Social Security design is to pay less of a percentage, a lot less of a percentage.
Right.
And that's sort of how they design the payout. Now, there's something called, when you're paying a Social Security tax, there's earnings limits.
Yes.
So I believe in 2025, they just produced the new numbers. People can, if they make $176,100, only after that will Social Security tax stop.
Right.
Medicare premium is already going no matter how much you make.
Right.
To help fund Medicare.
Right.
So when we think about Social Security and we think about changes to the future, we just look at what they've done for Medicare.
Yep.
Medicare tax, they just extend it no matter what you make, you pay it.
Yep.
So that's one of those things they could do, right? They could just keep taxing Social Security no matter how much you make.
Yes.
And that would apply to those that make more, would have to pay in. That would not make their benefit any better. It'd just be just an additional full-fledged tax.
It'd just be a way to pay for the program in its current state.
Yeah. When I'm thinking about will Social Security be enough, my answer is no. I just think it's not enough. If that's your plan, then that's not going to be enough. You're going to be living paycheck to paycheck,
right,
waiting for that one-time check from Social Security, and that's not the best retirement.
No.
So what do people need to do is they need to look at it early, often, and then save. They need to save first, pay themselves first, throw money to your own future so that Social Security is part of your retirement plan, but it's not your retirement plan.
Right. And I think you've hit it on the head several times, sitting down 8, 10, 12, 13 years prior to your retirement date and start planning for that date.
Absolutely. Yes, like I know my personal life, I think, 67 should be full retirement age. That's the earliest. Now, because of the longevity of Social Security and stuff like that, I think 67 becomes the more primary date to choose. Waiting longer, I'm not sure if that helps as much if we think it's going to go down in 10 years. So
that's an analysis that needs to be made. If indeed nothing changes and the benefit's going to drop, then why would you wait to age 70?
Correct.
Why wouldn't you go ahead and claim it at your full retirement age, especially if those that are currently claiming are grandfathered?
Absolutely. Now, Social Security is taxable, right, Sam?
Yes, up to 85% of the benefit is taxable, depending on your income.
So it's not a tax-free benefit unless you make zero other money. Then you could have some zero tax on Social Security.
Yes.
So there is levels for single and married when it comes to Social Security taxation. There's a gap between 34 and 44 for married, where you actually could pay tax on 50%.
Yes.
But above it, actually, you have to watch. You sort of have to watch the taxation of your Social Security. So in retirement planning, we love looking at tax returns so that we can project your income and look at it. Well, if you draw Social Security early, what taxation is it? If you draw Social Security early and you want to do Roth conversions and all this other planning, does Social Security early help you or hurt you? And what ends up happening is this. General retirement planning advice would start with this. Get out of debt so that you have money to pay your health care bills. Make sure you have money in the bank or money in liquid investments that you can have accessible to cover your income if you need it so that you can draw Social Security when you want to rather than you have to. Have your IRAs and Roth IRAs planned and ready to use as you need it, and design an income plan that'll keep you under some income limits if possible, to watch the Medicare tax on the means testing. There's so many aspects to this. Social Security, you and Social Security, that is what we're talking about today. Now, Sam's given us information like full retirement age. Could you explain that one more time for me?
Full retirement age is defined by the Social Security Administration depending on the month and the year that you're born. But at your full retirement age, as defined by the Social Security Administration, you will get 100% of your benefit.
And there's some great interesting facts I want to just run with as we close out the show today. All right, so let's say the father is 70 years old, drawing Social Security,
yes,
and they decide to adopt a child. Does that child get Social Security?
There is a dependent benefit. Yes, absolutely.
So I had a client, they adopted a child, and was an older spouse, and they adopted a child, and they did not draw right away. They didn't know that was an option.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. If you adopt a child as you're drawing Social Security, this occurs if you're drawing disability Social Security or regular income Social Security.
The child has to be under a certain age, but absolutely, yes.
Yeah, under basically high school or less, under age 18. Social Security, there's death benefits. There's also ex-spouse benefits.
Yes, there are.
Explain just a quick version of that.
Your ex-spouse, if they were married to you for 10 years, can draw a spousal benefit off of your work record. Yes.
Right. But if you're drawing off an ex-spouse, you cannot be currently married.
Yes.
And the ex-spouse could be currently married.
Yes.
But the one that wants to try to draw off an ex-spouse, you really need to know the rules there.
You need to know the rules, and you could have 2 or 3 ex-spouses claiming off of your work record.
Yeah, I had one case that had 3.
Yeah.
That I've seen 3. I have not seen 4. Now, the other idea is that this Social Security is treated as death benefit, it's disability benefit. There's all kinds of options when it comes down to when you need to use this. Now, spousal benefits, if you're basically a survivorship after the main earner passes away, you can draw it by age 60 as a widow or widower.
Yep.
You can't really draw earlier than that, but it could be drawn for kids, which is very wise. There's lots of sources, a lot of use of Social Security, knowing your situation and how to apply it. That's what we try to do with the Akers Financial Group, being the advisor, and help guide people into Social Security. Also, we help them with the Medicare choices, lots of options. And Sam Payne is one of the people that we go to for the special situations.
Yeah, but one of the things I'd say is, we didn't really touch on it, but that spousal benefit in that when the main worker passes away and the spousal gets the widowed benefit, whatever that's left, they get a double whammy. We've had this conversation before where they get a reduced benefit, the greater of the two, but now that benefit is taxed at a single tax rate, which we know is substantially different than a married filing jointly.
Right. And so Social Security is a taxable event. It's also a planning and retirement planning event. And so working this out, don't just take it lightly. Don't just apply because you hit a certain age. Apply at your own choice after you made a wise decision. You and Social Security, a very valuable decision that you need to make. Thank you, Sam, for walking us through it today.
Glad to be here.
I appreciate that. So today we covered you and Social Security. We look forward to meeting with you. We want you to win in your retirement by taking advantage of the opportunity to begin planning with us at Akers Financial Group. To schedule your free meeting with one of our team of advisors, go to our website at akersfinancialgroup.com. Scroll to the Schedule a Meeting section and let us know you'd like to schedule your free meeting. That's akersfinancial.com, or you can give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WINRETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person meeting with one of our team of advisors. Start planning for your retirement now. Go to akersfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we want you to be winning in retirement.
You've been listening to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group. Akers Financial Group offers securities through Archedios Capital, an SIPC and FINRA member firm. Advisory services are provided through Archedios Wealth. Akers Financial Group and Archedios do not share any common ownership. Neither Archedios nor Akers Financial Group provides tax or legal advice. Advice given on Winning in Retirement is general in nature, and one should seek further advice from their financial advisor, broker, attorney, and or tax accountant before investing. Be sure to read each prospectus carefully to understand all the risks associated with each investment. Examples and scenarios shared are meant to be for illustrative purposes only. Past performance is not indicative of future results.